Hello and welcome to a Star Citizen Consolidated Outland Nomad Ship Buyer's Guide. This is the latest single-seater premium starter multi-role ship that focuses a little bit more on cargo. Let's start with the official release page and what it says about the Nomad. When we introduced the Mustang line back in 2944, our aim was to reshape the dream of spaceflight. Since then, much has changed in the way we traverse the stars. The universe itself has expanded, with infinite opportunities waiting out there for all of us brave enough to chase them. The time has come, it seems, to reshape the dream yet again, to push further than we've ever have before. The time has come for the Nomad. Imagine the versatility of a medium-sized multi-purpose freighter packed into a compact frame. Imagine a ship designed for lone pilots finding their way across a galaxy teeming with possibilities. The Nomad is ready to go anywhere and do anything. The perfect solution for anyone yearning to start a brand new adventure. The model of self-sufficiency, the spirit of the open sky. The Nomad is as rugged as it is refined, thanks to its 3 size 2 laser repeaters that will keep you in the fight and out of potential deadly scraps. No corner of the galaxy is out of bounds. The Nomad combines the utility of a larger class freighter with Consolidated Outland's renowned cutting-edge design philosophy, with a groundbreaking 24 SCU open cargo bed. This is a ship that lets solo pilots get the tough jobs done, conquering the galaxy on their own terms. So, let's have a look at its stats. The ship is 26.5 meters long, 18.3 meters wide, and 9.2 meters high. So it's actually pretty big for a single-seater ship, and there's a lot packed into it. It has all small components with a single power plant, 2 coolers, 2 computers, 3 shields, 2 fuel intakes, and 2 fuel tanks. But a single quantum fuel tank. Weapons-wise, it has 3 size 3 weapon mounts, and as standard it comes with gimbaled size 2 laser repeaters on each of those mounts. It also has 2 size 4 missile mounts with 8 size 2 missiles total. There is quite a lot of customization and loadout choices for that ship though, because of the amount of systems that it has. Fixed size 3 weapons will make that ship extremely formidable against NPCs at least. The 3 hardpoints mean that you can run a single distortion weapon and then 2 large laser repeaters or whatever your DPS of choice is, and actually be pretty good at taking targets out. It's not a competitive PvP ship though, at least not in my hands. It's much more suited for the PvE gameplay. It's not a dedicated fighter or anything like that either. It's very much multi-role, focusing a little bit more on that cargo gameplay. I say a little bit more, quite a bit more I suppose. The ship has 24 SCU of cargo space. This is quite a lot for a small ship. The cargo is exposed though, and not enclosed in the ship, and not accessible when you're inside the ship. You have to go to the actual rear of the ship to get access. This means the cargo area can also be used for a rock or a cyclone. It's actually sort of fits it there, which gives it some interesting utility in transporting a small vehicle, but also using that small vehicle for a variety of other things. I really like the idea of emptying out the rocks minables, potentially into the Nomad, although maybe more into the interior, basically doing a few runs, and then taking all the delicious loots back to a refinery, though you aren't really afforded any room for cargo in the ship if you put a vehicle in there, so sort of bear that in mind. It might be more of a pipe dream doing that, and like filling the ship up, but maybe you could put it in its interior or something. We don't know much of what the benefits or vulnerabilities of having an exposed cargo will have in the future. Expect your cargo to be much more easily damaged, and if your ship takes certain types of damage, that cargo to just float off, but maybe it's able to be ejected more easily, or something like that, question mark. At the rear of the ship as well, we also have a size 1 multi-purpose utility mount. So that has a tractor beam as standard. Tractor beams are coming in a more handheld version in Star Citizen Alpha 3.12 at the end of 2020. And we're going to be seeing the large sort of ship versions of these later. But the idea is to allow the ship to pick up and move cargo easily in space. So you could grab some loot, grab some cargo, move it around ships, but it could also be extremely useful as an aid to salvage, looting and mining ops. You could grab minables or salvage and bring it to a ship that can deal with those items. You could even act as more of a container for those items too, because you've got external cargo bay. You could house a load of stuff there and move it around. Also, some ships that deal with more refined materials, you could quickly also then fill up the back of your ship with those refined materials that those produce. Maybe they take them somewhere else. I just sort of like the idea. Again, if you're looting or raiding, a tractor beam and quick access to an exterior cargo area could be extremely useful for literally just grabbing stuff quickly or moving stuff around. There are some issues with the role of the ship, really with its range, I suppose. So it's got a small quantum fuel tank and small quantum drive. That means you're going to be much more suited to traveling within the same planetary system. And if you want to do like cargo hauling there, you're going to be hopping around and selling, maybe doing a bit of selling and mission running at the same time. However, I do think the ship could be potentially pretty useful operating out of a fleet, as long as it's got another ship to house itself in. But yeah, as a starter ship, it's pretty short range. Most starter ships are though, so bear that in mind. Exterior wise, you can open the ship and get into it via a door and retractable ladder on the port or left side of the ship. The rear cargo area can also be interacted with, allowing the ramp to drop down from the rear, though this area does not allow entry into the ship, that cargo ramp. You can't get into the actual interior of the ship. The cargo bay is both exposed and separated from the rest of the ship, basically, though there is a window that you can view inside, or if you're inside the ship, outside the ship. Landing gear wise, it's pretty strange. The landing gear, it uses gravlev, so it hovers. It doesn't touch the ground. It's the same sort of tech that the Nox and the Dragonfly has. It's stable though, sort of acting like proper landing gear, like something more rigid. The ship has quite an expansive interior, so from entering from the side door with the ladder, we're greeted with a hallway. We've got weapon storage racks there immediately. We also, as I said earlier, have a little window that looks upon the cargo area. You can also interact with the cargo area here to raise and lower the ramp. There's still more going on in this hallway though, so we've got access to some of the components of the ship, the quantum drive and the power plant more specifically. There's also a toilet in a cubicle here, as well as a cupboard for armor and gear storage. You'll notice that a lot of the interactions for these buttons and doors are not pressy buttons yet. It's all sort of like placeholder personal inner thought system. I suspect that will be changed in the future though, because they want the more tactile pushy buttons, touchscreen stuff. Let's go deeper into the ship though. So moving further in, there's a door that then leads onto a living area with a bed, kitchenette, cooking area and compact seating. Above there's even more accessible component storage too. Specifically here it's coolers and shield generators this time. This internal space affords you a load of cool stuff that you can do. Having a bed, having a toilet, having a kitchenette means that you can probably survive out in the verse for a huge period of time without having to go back to a port. So this sort of like ability to stay away from home, not have to necessarily go back to a space station for a longer period of time than you would with another starter ship could be quite beneficial to a lot of players. Leading on through the next door though, takes you to the cockpit. Now this is pretty nicely sectioned off from the rest of the ship, so if parts of it depressurize, you're probably pretty safe in the cockpit. The multifunction display and control panel here is a one-piece wraparound touchscreen, and the cockpit does have some struts here, which I do think are pretty much a design choice. It does block the view a little bit, but not overly. Everything is orange in colour, or orange tinted at the very least, and the button presses, again, they're not properly physicalised here yet. Expect those to be added in the future. That sort of cockpit experience. The ship does have an ejection seat for the pilot though, that will launch you out of the top of the ship. Poof! In atmosphere, the ship isn't the most manoeuvrable. I'd say it's below average for its size in both space and atmospheric flight for manoeuvrability for sure. I wouldn't want to dogfight in it, especially in PvP, although sort of like doing some mission running, doing some light fighting, it's reasonably good at. Its top speed is 1170 meters a second, and its SEM speed is 180 meters a second at the moment. So let's look at its pricing and packages it's available in. So it's currently available from $70 war bond. That's purchasing without using any store credit, so new money basically. And there is a limited time package for $80 war bond, which gives you the ship, but also a game package. And the war bond versions of the ship, they come with lifetime insurance. You can buy the ship standalone for $80 if you want to use store credit. So It does make it a good choice for players wanting to get a game package with lifetime insurance or as their first ship, potentially, or even as a lifetime insurance token. You purchase a ship and then upgrade it later during the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo or another sale in the future. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone just buying it as a standalone ship, though. I just don't think it has that much use in the game yet. That could change though. However, if you're a new player and you want this as a game package, or you want to upgrade your starter ship to this, then that's certainly an option. However, this ship is sort of competing against the Reliant Core and the Avenger Titan. So also, for a little more money, you can get Cutlass Black, which is a much better multi-role ship, in my opinion, that also allows for a larger crew if you want it. And I think it's just a lot better ship, that Cutlass Black. The Avenger Titan as well is cheaper and a better fighter, in my opinion, and does a lot of the stuff that the sort of Nomad does. Maybe not all of it, and maybe that's the point. There are just better choices for its price point, in my opinion. However, once it's purchasable in-game for Alpha VC, I suspect that it will actually be much more commonly adopted, and once we've got sort of tractor beams and some of the other gameplay loops, maybe this ship will be incredibly useful as a utility ship to help other ships with a variety of tasks. Gameplay-wise now, you can focus on combat and bounty hunting gameplay or small-scale cargo hauling, or both with this ship. In fact, it's a good ship to learn how to be efficient when moving around the verse to try and maximize profit by doing a bit of everything, mission running and cargo hauling simultaneously. I have a slight worry about it only having a single power plant, but I think it's fine as long as you outfit the ship with an appropriate power plant, upgraded power plant, based on what the rest of your loadout is, because you're going to have to make some concessions if you're wanting to run loads of energy weapons and 3 shields as well that are power hungry, so it's not going to be that power efficient unless you're smart. The ship's surprisingly secure, actually, as well. It's hard for people to sneak on board because it's got that retractable ladder, which obviously you can't interact with necessarily unless you're the ship's owner or given access to other people. So, and the cargo being external, if they do sneak up on the back, they're on the back. You can probably see them out the window. It's yeah, you don't feel like you're going to be snuck up upon by people in this ship, which is pretty cool. Visually, okay, so some people have quite correctly compared it to an Asp from Elite Dangerous, and I'm actually, I think this is very detached from a normal Star Citizen ship as well. I'm not a fan of its shapeology or its design personally. I do not like the way it looks, but that's just me. Some people might like it. I suspect quite a lot of people might like it. There are a couple of additional skins available at the moment as well. A black and red one, sort of like reminiscent of a Black Widow. Also, there is a white one available, both available from $7 each. Yeah, I kind of like the black and red one. The Nomad has potential. It's got a lot of functionality, I suppose, and in the future it might be really, really good as a utility ship rather than just a premium starter ship. And it looks to me like Cloud Imperium are trying to push people away from the Aurora MR and the Mustang Alpha, having a much sort of like bigger step from those ships to the Avenger Titan, to the Reliant, to this Nomad as proper second tier starters. The natural evolution from the cheaper, more basic starter ships, actually starting to push more into other roles and starting to experience a bit more of the game and have a lot more potentials and possibilities and gameplay loops associated with them. But please tell me what you think. Are you a fan of the Nomad and the way it looks? Have you picked one up? Are you going to be getting one for your fleet? Have you converted your ship over to a Nomad? Do you hate it? Do you think it doesn't serve a purpose in the game? Were you really upset, like I was, that it wasn't the refinery ship that I expected it to be? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Each month we have a ship giveaway. For November, we are giving away a Mercury Star Runner again. This highly anticipated multi-role ship is great for small to medium-sized crews that want to do a bit of everything, whether that be cargo running, data running, missions, combat, smuggling, all that sort of jazz. All you've got to do to be in for a chance of winning one is comment on any of my videos made for November, including this one. More details down below. What am I shilling for today, I hear you ask? Do you hate it when people steal all of your money and your house over the internet? I know I do. NordVPN may have been invented by wizards to help protect your personal data from the prying eyes of the dark web, a sinister cabal of technomancers that grow in power the more they know about your browsing habits. The true story of NordVPN's origins are unknown and lost to the ages, and without using fact, no one really knows how it provides more accessibility to otherwise censored websites or a safer security experience for all that use it. All I know is that it does, and that when you sign up to it, the power level of my bank account grows, and I use it, and maybe you should too.